as 2024 is coming to a close, I'd like to revisit what I believe are the three most powerful concepts that shape the intentional manifestor journey of creating reality deliberately, reprogramming the subconscious mind, mastering the art of focused intention, and unlocking the ability to quantum jump to different timelines to manifest desired outcomes at record speed. To wrap up the year, I've combined three of my most impactful videos into one ultimate recap. Plus, due to the amazing response of my Black Friday sale, I'm also extending the sale into the new year, giving you the chance to access these powerful tools at my best price. I encourage you to watch, and if necessary, rewatch this recap in order to absorb these concepts and create a breakthrough in your life for an extraordinary 2025. Enjoy. We live in two simultaneous worlds. The invisible world of cause, where thoughts and beliefs are creators, and the seemingly material world of effect, where the results or manifestations of our thoughts and beliefs come into being and are experienced. The law of creation is exact and can easily be demonstrated through the invisible idea of a plant within a seed. That idea is within the seed before it is even planted, and that seed will produce only the particular plant which is invisible within it. Both physical scientists and metaphysicians agree that the physical world is in constant change. The more we learn about the inner or invisible world in which we exist, we realize that this invisible world is infinite. We who are in the image and likeness of the infinite intelligent power are also infinite and have available to us an ever-expanding intelligence. Through the law of creation, we can project an idea into the mind and have that idea come into manifestation. With this knowledge, we can take control and start to shape our lives and our reality from a creative consciousness paradigm. Once fully understood, we can shed ourselves of old paradigms of reality that constrain us and accelerate the ushering in of a new reality that empowers and creates a basis for total wellness. We must take our own unfoldment in our hands and give conscious direction to the evolutionary forces within us. From the perspective of quantum physics, the universe is made up entirely of energy. This science also states that all things are interconnected, interdependent, and essentially one or unified. The energy exists in two forms, either in particle having form or as wave unformed or empty of form. Particles can be seen and observed at points in space and time and are the dozens basis for the objects that we perceive in the universe or the established reality we are used to living in and moving through. Waveform energy includes anything related to thoughts, sounds, mind, images, and feelings. As humans, we possess both states of energy in our makeup, and so have an inner waveform energy world and life. This wave energy flows in and between our perceived particle-based body, which is the boundary that most believe is where we start and end. In other words, the perception for Many is that the physical body is the physical body is the physical body, self. This gives rise to the mistake that the physical component is all that we are, which often leads to separation, consciousness, where we think I and not we, and start to think of everything outside of this I as both objective and not our concern, unless it suits us. The truth is that the embodied reality we call I gives us our definition of time and space. The mind gives us time, and the E+N body gives us object space. From this limited perceived particle form the physical body is the self. We become a reality with a self imagined point in time and space. Man created time as a concept because our embodied reality puts us in a time-space continuum where past, present, and future can be measured, and we see ourselves progressing in a linear fashion down a path of time. However, some theories in quantum physics state that what we really do is keep choosing one single possible story line each moment in time, whereas there are infinite choices in every moment that we can choose from, and each choice we make then opens us up to the next unlimited set of possibilities for the next moment. From the field of neuroscience, we know that our brain operates from imagery, sounds, smells, taste and touch that are processed through electrical signals. The gray-dark area of the brain organ does not have any physical contact with what is considered external stimuli. It's merely a translator. Our perception and cognition of objects through this apparatus gives rise to feelings and emotions. We then think of our life as operating in a constant loop where we take in our reality from out there via all of our sense awareness and then process it via the mental consciousness procedure, which uses our nervous systems and brain neural circuitry. These in turn produce feelings, which are effects of cellular biochemical reactions and pathways running in our bodies. Our brains do not confront the original of any matter on a physical level, but rather produce an electrical copy of it, formed inside this organ. In other words, the external world is actually inside of our brains. These physical facts bring us to the calm conclusion that everything that we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch are simply electrical signals within our brains that are interpreted. Therefore, the things interpreted are actually a part of us. They are produced within the brain, which is encased within the body. You are not in the world that you perceive yourself to be in, rather the world is inside of you. Your body, or the I that you recognize to be you, the body you know yourself to be in, is also an image form that is rendered within your brain. The only reality that any one of us experiences is the world of perceptions within our minds, and consequently our feeling states. This is why you may hear that the world is a mirror or reflection of who and what you are. It originates and lives internally within you and is interpreted by your brain within you. However, you are not your brain. The brain is operated by something much larger. The brain organ is merely a means of translation of experiences. You are consciousness or conscious mind experiencing the translation of the brain as mirrored back to you. What this means is this: the mind can take control. It has the ability to shape the brain's wiring. This tool, the brain, is meant to be used by the mind, not the other way around. Unfortunately, many times people become stuck in allowing the brain to run on its default programming rather than giving it new programs to bring about new translations or manifestations. When the mind finds its true power, the result is motivation, inspiration, expression, healing, discovery, personal growth, and deliberate creation. The brain, in its purely primal function, is incapable of such things. It's simply a machine, or, as previously stated, a tool to be utilized in a purposeful manner. When properly employed, it is the servant and not the master. That being said, it has the capability of bringing you every experience that you've ever dreamed of. Although this concept may be difficult for many to understand, the science behind it is factual. No one experiences reality in the same manner that you do, because you create it internally. With this knowledge, it may become easier to understand that you have the ability to consciously alter the brain to generate what you choose to now perceive as your manifested reality. You can create new neural pathways and therefore new electrical signals that will furnish you with a new translation, or what you know as your physical reality. Rewiring your brain is critical in creating what you desire. Following are a few ways to do this. Number 1. Go outside of your normal routine. According to scientific research, we each have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That's equivalent to one thought for every 1 to 2 seconds during every waking hour. What's even more interesting is that of those 60 to 70 zero thoughts, 95% are the same thoughts that you had yesterday and the day before and the day before. That your mind is like a record player, playing the same record over and over again. In this manner, it's nearly impossible to create a deviation from your current reality. One way to alter that record that's on repeat within the brain is to go outside of your normal routine whenever possible. By doing something new, our brain circuits respond by stretching our neuroplasticity and activating new pathways. What this means is the brain forms and reorganizes new connections in response to new experiences. And when we do this often enough, neurons in our brain are reinforced, making stronger connections and creating new electrical signals that have the ability to translate new experiences in our reality. This gives the brain more options to work with for future manifestations. Number 2, dream yourself into a new reality. Visualizing and daydreaming have a large impact on the brain. The brain doesn't know the difference between what's being played out in the external and internal worlds. Accordingly, internal transformation changes our outer reality. As previously mentioned, the outer world is merely a mirror of what is happening internally within the brain. This means you can literally dream yourself into a new reality by rewiring your brain through visualizing and mentally stimulating your mind to embed new signals into your cells and your circuitry. Number 3. Tell yourself the best feeling story available. Telling yourself the best feeling story about all of your life circumstances will over time build and cement new, improved beliefs. This reforms your habitual neural network of thought and creates new electrical signals. The quantum field, or the holographic world that you perceive through the brain, is responding to your beliefs and the expectations that those beliefs evoke. It delivers their equivalent back to you to create your physical reality. Therefore, improving your beliefs will always be your key long-term to more fully realizing your dreams and goals. Repetition and heightened feeling states are of utmost importance by tricking the fly's brain into feeling that the reality that you choose is already. So it will go to work to match that for you. This is an example of the mind overriding the brain and can be accomplished by feeling how it would feel to already have what you desire, or you may produce an intense, positive feeling state by recalling something from your past. If this doesn't work for you, imagine a person that already has what you want, and how it must feel to be them. With enough time and consistent practice, the brain will believe that the new reality is already so, and respond to the new beliefs by manifesting the matching electrical circuits for a new perceived material reality. Extensive studies show that when you decide to change your mind in a determinate fashion, you can cause physical changes to your brain. It's also been scientifically shown that the brain is structurally altered by changes in your behavior patterns. You can make this a conscious process where shifts in your thoughts, attitude, and beliefs rewire current problematic areas. You can conquer toxic thinking patterns and old limiting beliefs with changes in your views, having new visions, imploring feelings of your choosing, and stretching yourself whenever possible. You get to consciously choose what you will create or change. This is the power that you have in every moment to see all the possible outcomes available to you, and then connect consciously and purposefully with the one that seems most desirable. We are each in a theater of our own creating, continually writing the scripts and decorating the stage with our focus. Remember this: when you feel trapped within the illusion of a job, a relationship, a living situation, or any other label, if something in your life has become a source of pain or discomfort for you, you have the absolute power to change it all. You have to do is choose a different reality. Scientists have discovered that at the core of everything around us, from the devices that we use to the stars in the sky, are waves of energy that respond to our attention and our focus. This concept, once thought to be purely mystical, has roots in the principles of quantum physics, which shows us how our observations have a direct effect on our environment and what we experience as our manifested reality. By understanding this, we can learn to harness these energies to not only observe, but also create the reality that we want. Let's take a closer look at how this works and how you can apply it in your everyday life to achieve your desires. Modern science, and most notably through the lens of quantum physics, reveals that the act of observing an object can actually affect its state, a phenomenon known as the observer effect. This principle states that particles exist in a state of potential until they are observed. Only then do they assume properties like location or momentum. This discovery bridges the gap between the physical world and our personal experiences, meaning that our conscious attention literally shapes our material reality. Moreover, our focus acts like a signal, directing the flow of energy in our surroundings to align with our thoughts and our emotions. And this is actually a physical process that can be observed in brain science. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, responds directly to our repeated thoughts and our focus. By consistently focusing on positive or negative thoughts, we reinforce certain neural pathways, essentially programming our brains to perceive and interact with the world in a way that matches our beliefs and, ultimately, the way in which we manifest our experience of reality. In other words, by repeatedly focusing on certain thoughts and emotions, we install patterns of perception and reaction in our brains. Much like programming a computer, this mental programming dictates how we interpret events, how we react to challenges, and even the opportunities that we notice around us, turning our ingrained beliefs into self-fulfilling prophecies. This phenomenon, which affects what we are capable of perceiving and experiencing in our external world, is known as selective attention. Selective attention is the process by which our brain prioritizes information that aligns with our existing beliefs and then filters out anything that contradicts those beliefs. For instance, if someone firmly believes that opportunities are scarce, it's quite likely that they will not notice any potential opportunities that are present around them, because their brain is not programmed to look for that in the same way. If we believe we are unworthy of happiness or success, we will unconsciously overlook or dismiss situations that could lead to these positive outcomes. This is extremely valuable to know, because it shows us that opportunities that are likely available can simply be overlooked by the filters that we have established in our minds. The more we reinforce specific patterns through our focus, the more our reality begins to mirror them, demonstrating the powerful role that our minds play in shaping our manifested experience. But by changing our beliefs, through changing our habits of focus, we can expand our perceptual field to include and attract more of the experiences that we desire. This reprogramming is essential if we want to not only see, but also seize the opportunities that align with our manifestation, goals, the connection between where we direct our attention, our focus, and the conpale reality that we experience is crucial for understanding the true power of the law of attraction and how it really works through changing what we can consistently focus on shifting our mental habits and emotional states. We can alter the course of our lives in very significant ways by understanding and applying the science of focus and observation. You actively create change and manifest your life in a deliberate and intentional manner, and this is backed by both psychological and physical evidence. Think of the world as being made up of invisible energy waves. These waves only become visible things when we notice them, which means nothing really exists until we actually pay attention to it. Our focus shapes what we create around us, all the way down to the smallest details, guided by the beliefs and the desires hidden deep within our subconscious minds. You can actually have everything you want. And there are many techniques, such as visualization and meditation, that are an important part of manifesting those things. However, if the subconscious mind is cluttered with doubts like believing we'll never be wealthy or find love or achieve our dreams, these negative thoughts prevent our desires from taking shape. Changing these deep-seated beliefs is essential for making our dreams become reality. The problem with many vague descriptions of the law of attraction is that, based on how reality is actually created, it doesn't describe the way the process of having what we want truly works, which I'll uncover for you here. Everything in the world exists as an invisible wave of energy until we give it conscious attention. It is our act of observation that gives it form. In other words, consciousness creates our reality. Mind affects matter, and the very first thing that is affected by our thoughts and consciousness is the self and the dinned environment. Everything we experience, see, smell, taste, touch, and hear is sensory input. The subconscious mind immediately associates these sensations with the memory of events that have been stored away for later retrieval. For example, if a specific sound is associated with a pleasant experience, when that sound is heard, the mind will remember that pleasant experience and recall the sensations that correspond with it. This also works for unfavorable associations created from memories, which can negatively block a person on a subconscious level when they experience. These are energies that are projected and absorbed, and we become kind of addicted to these feeling states on a cellular level. This in turn creates repeats of specific scenarios, whether those scenarios are something we desire to experience again or not. As humans, the way we observe and what determines exactly what we experience is based on what's in our subconscious minds, which has been created mostly from the sensation and memory of past experience. So you have to consciously put new information into the mind in the present to create a new future. Today's science estimates that approximately 95% of our brain's activity is unconscious, meaning that the majority of the decisions that we make, the actions that we take, our emotions, behaviors, and reactions depend on the 95% of the brain activity that lies beyond our conscious awareness. The conscious mind only comprises the remaining 5%. In addition, the brain produces about 25 watts of power, and the subconscious mind transmits this energy as desires, emote, and impulses. This energy in the subconscious mind is inexhaustible. The brain functions 24 hours per day, all of your life. And here's a critical point to note. When the conscious mind, what you truly, consciously wish to experience, and the quote, subconscious mind, which is based on old memories and programs, when these two things are in conflict, the subconscious mind always wins because it holds the most power. For example, when someone makes a conscious decision to stop procrastinating without changing the subconscious desire for avoiding specific tasks, eventually the subconscious mind will win out and revert to what it previously learned. The habit of procrastinating. In this case, the subconscious mind needs to be retrained to value organization and timely action for lasting change to take place. This works for fitness goals and dieting, saving or spending money, finding and sustaining relationships, landing the 12 perfect job, our career, and basically any and everything else in our lives. The conscious mind itself has a limited memory, and most of it short-term. In contrast, the subconscious mind has virtually infinite memory, enough for everything you have and will experience in your life. And this is why it wins out over our conscious desires, unless we override it through new habits. Let's talk about one other interesting aspect of the subconscious mind that directly influences what is manifested as experience. The subconscious mind can often be locked in what is termed as change blindness. This is the failure to notice clearly visible alterations to surroundings, which can block out what a person is actively seeking from. Life experiments on change blindness demonstrate how people often fail to notice significant changes in their visual environment, especially when their attention is diverted or they are not expecting changes. One famous experiment that illustrates this phenomenon is the invisible gorilla test, conducted by psychologists Chris Ph.D. and Dan Simons. In this experiment, participants were asked to count basketball passes amongst players during the exercise. A person in a gorilla suit walks through the scene, but surprisingly, many participants didn't notice the gorilla because their attention was focused on counting the passes. So what does this have to do with the law of attraction and manifestation? These experiments highlight how our perceptual system can overlook changes in our environment, suggesting that we perceive and remember only a fraction of what the visual details available to us are at any given time. In other words, we are often carelessly unaware of most of what is going on around us, to the point where we can fail to notice obvious changes in our surroundings, including the ones that we've asked for. This is critical to understand when searching for a new reality. Conscious attention is required to see requested changes. In fact, the experiences that you want to manifest are not only a possibility, but are a probability that you've likely missed due to the focus of your conscious awareness and due to the subconscious filters that align with that, which I'll teach you to change in just a moment. First, it's imperative to understand this. There are two ways in which people tend to focus: one, on what is wanted, and two, on what is unwanted. And many times people don't even realize that they're focusing on what is unwanted. For example, if a person were asked why it's important for them to save money, they may approach the response in either of two ways. The first response would give all of the reasoning that a saving strategy would enhance that person's life. However, if the focus is on what is not wanted, the response may be something to the effect of, I want to save money because without it I will struggle to make ends meet. I might not have enough money for emergencies, and I'll spend a large amount of my time worrying about finances. In the first case, this person moves towards the goal that's intended, and in the second example, they try to reach the goal by moving away from the opposite of what they want. In other words, they are focusing on what they don't want, which will continue to make that observation the clearer reality. These two ways of focusing the mind create very different outcomes. So it's imperative, if we want to create and manifest the type of life that we truly want to live, that we learn to become consciously aware of which way we do this. The mind figures out how to create what is focused on. When we attempt to move away from what is unwanted, there's actually still focus on it, and the mind takes what we focus on very literally. It assumes that we want whatever we focus on. It doesn't register the negative and will begin immediately the process of attracting or creating the things that our attention is placed on, providing us with more things in our sensory field that match that, even if it's something that we don't want to experience. More of this type of attention creates an internal map of reality that the mind will always follow all day. Every day we are placing our attention on something. The ability to focus on specific things and suppress all that is unwanted is the key to controlling your experience and your reality. Controlling our attention and our focus gives us a tremendous amount of power over our reality and can easily be accomplished with practice to effectively trigger your subconscious mind to automatically seek out more of what brings you joy and happiness. You can implement several psychological techniques and strategies. Following are 11 practical tips and tricks to master this skill and master your reality. Number 1. Reevaluate what seems negative to you. By reevaluating what may be deemed as a negative experience, we have the opportunity to focus on the good elements of what seems like a bad event. This trains the mind to begin creating subconscious patterns of looking at only the positive. Remember, what we focus on is what we create in our reality. If the subconscious mind learns through conscious repetition to automatically search for the positive, the perceptual field will be opened up to more positive, and more positive will be attracted into our lives. Number 2, challenge yourself in your free time. During unscheduled free time, many people go into a mode of low-level information processing in which they worry about things or do mundane tasks such as watching television, scheduling things that we enjoy in our free time stops the brain from engaging in the nature of being lazy and reverting to old programming that automatically happens by scheduling productive things to do in our spare time. We engage in more joy and positively stimulating experiences with repetition. This triggers the subconscious mind to automatically and continuously look for more of what makes us happy. Number 3, appreciate all the goodness that you see. This is one of the secrets of the happiest people in the world. We see what we look for, and we can train ourselves to be a part of that joy that's always waiting to be had. We don't have to passively wait for happiness to come to us. We can search for it and appreciate what is in front of us. Now, by offering gratitude and appreciation for all the lovely things that are already present, whether it be the smell of a rose, the giggle of a child, or the $5 bill that we found in an old coat pocket, we can teach the mind what we want from life. As with the other 2 processes, this practice becomes automatic, and the mind will intentionally seek more of what we are focusing on and make it manifest in our experience of reality. Number 4 is to leverage your environment to constantly remind you of your intentions. Place symbols, colors, or items that represent your goals in frequent sight. For example, if your goal is to travel more, keep a picture of an airplane or travel books in your workspace. These items serve as constant, subtle reminders to keep your focus aligned with your desires. Number 5, go beyond verbal affirmations by using sensory affirmations that engage more of your senses. You can do this by creating a playlist of sounds that bring up the feeling of having achieved your goals, such as the hustle and bustle of a city. If you're aiming to travel to busy urban centers, use scents associated with your goal like ocean, scented candles for beach destinations. Engage often with these sensory elements while meditating or reflecting on your goals. Number 6, start your day by setting a positive tone with positive priming. This could be through motivational quotes, affirmations, or a short meditation focusing on gratitude. Positive priming in the morning can subtly steer your subconscious mind towards noticing and appreciating positives throughout the day. Number 7, use what is known as habit stacking to your advantage. This is when you link a new desired habit to an already established habit, for instance. If you want to practice mindfulness to enhance happiness, you could stack this practice onto your morning coffee routine. Spend a few minutes meditating right before or after your coffee. This method helps the new habit become automatic, reinforcing your subconscious pursuit of happiness. Number 8. Mindful media consumption. Be intentional about the media that you consume. Engage with books, movies, music, and podcasts that uplift and inspire your subconscious mind. Consistently absorbs content from your surroundings, so positive media can program it to mirror these uplifting themes in your daily life. Number 9. Visualize often yourself experiencing joy and happiness. Visualization is a powerful tool for conditioning yourself conscious mind to recognize and pursue paths that lead to these states. Imagine scenarios where you feel fulfilled and content, and your subconscious will begin to guide you towards making these visions a reality. Number 10. Keep a happiness journal every day. Write down things that made you happy, achievements you're proud of, or even aspects of yourself that you appreciate. This reflection not only boosts your mood in the moment, but also reinforces to your subconscious mind the patterns of recognizing and appreciating joy. And number 11 is to engage with positive psychology exercises that focus on strengths rather than weakness. Exercises like writing about your best possible self can encourage your subconscious mind to focus on positive future possibilities and the steps required to achieve them. These strategies involve a combination of direct actions and mindset shifts designed to recalibrate your subconscious mind. By consistently applying these tips, your subconscious mind will gradually learn to automatically seek out and focus on elements that enhance your happiness and well-being. This part of us, subconscious mind, is beyond our normal awareness, so we have to make a special point to access it. Your conscious mind is meant to be the master, and your subconscious mind is meant to be the genie. Once we learn how to train the subconscious mind to focus on the results that we want, we can make whatever changes that we wish in our lives. In other words, to get anything that you want, you need to change what's in your subconscious mind, the internal map that it always follows. This means that if you don't like what's in your life right now, or you haven't had success manifesting what you want, you can make changes in your subconscious mind through conscious focus and experience a totally different reality, one that is of your choosing and more to your liking. Our filters determine what we pay attention to. We can either use them unconsciously, as many unfortunately do, or we can master them and use them consciously and intentionally. Through conscious practice, our new filters will run unconsciously and automatically, which creates life in a very certain preset way. If we choose to operate our focus consciously and intentionally, we can create whatever we want. It's that simple. The most significant and rewarding aspect of using focus to create what is wanted is mapping out with intention how our future events will manifest. And that is how the law attraction really works. Have you ever wondered why time seems to fly by when you're having fun, but drags on when you're feeling bored? And what if I told you that your experience of time speeding up or slowing down reveals a hidden truth about its nature and how it's intertwined with your personal consciousness? And what if you could receive a message from your future self explaining how you can harness time and its connection to your consciousness and learn how to jump through dimensions and manifest your deepest desires? Instantly imagine the possibility that your future self, another version of you, has mastered the art of time navigation and how to maneuver through the landscape of existence itself. This is the point in what you might refer to as time for you to learn how to access the same mastery. It's a call to action from another version of you, urging you to start embracing these principles now, to unlock your full potential and begin living a life beyond the conventional boundaries of time and space. This isn't only about foreseeing the future, it's about creating it with your mind and your intention in our everyday lives. Time appears to be a constant, ever-flowing force that marches from one moment to the next in a linear fashion. But imagine if time was not just a sequence of ticking seconds, but a landscape that we could navigate in any direction, forward, backward, and even sideways, to access any point in space that we desire at any present moment and actively shape our own reality. Time is actually only an illusion designed by our own perceptions and shaped by our thoughts. In this video, guided by the wisdom of another version of you and the understanding that all things are interconnected and that all consciousness is now, we'll explore how embracing the expansive view of yourself as the universe itself can unlock extraordinary powers of manifestation and transformation. Get ready to see time not as a limitation, but as the ultimate tool for creating the life that you've always imagined. This is an invitation to step into a realm of limitless possibilities, where time bends to your will and your deepest desires manifest with ease. Time, as we experience it, is not fundamental aspect of the universe, but rather a construct of our individual perceptions, an illusion, if you will. Imagine time not as a linear path that we travel, but as a vast ocean in which all moments past, present, and future exist simultaneously. This ocean of time is not something that we move through, but rather something that we are immersed in, with different moments becoming prominent based on the focus of our conscious awareness. There are other versions of you who understand this concept deeply, and when you begin to perceive time from this expanded viewpoint, you unlock the ability to consciously choose which aspects of time to experience and when. But if time is only an illusion, how do we use this concept to manifest our désir mort? Effectively, the key lies in understanding that by changing our perception of time, we can affect our reality. For instance, if we view our goals as already achieved in the eternal now moment, we align our psychological state with our desires, effectively pulling the experiences from the realm of possibility into manifested and perceived reality. This alignment can dramatically alter our approach to goals, making them feel more immediate and achievable, and we'll go over exactly how to do that in just a moment. First, let's go back to the question that I asked at the beginning of this video as a means of offering you a way to change your perception of how time works so that you can fully integrate this concept into your consciousness. The question was, have you ever noticed that time seems to fly by when you're having fun, but seems to drag on when you're bored or during less pleasant experiences? This phenomenon is a form of temporal distortion where our perception of time changes based on our emotional state. You can also notice this in the way that a Saturday might feel different to you than a Monday, or how an eagerly awaited vacation can seem to arrive more slowly than a routine week at work. It's all based on our meaning and the emotional state that corresponds to that. So it's an internal job it's created within, rather than without. By consciously managing our emotional responses and maintaining a state of joy and abundance in our present moment, we can actually speed up the manifestation process, making it feel as though it's happening faster. This is because feeling joy shifts our state to resonate with the experiences that we desire, effectively pulling our future goals into our present reality. This approach works because when we embody the emotions and the attitudes of what is considered the future version of ourselves, who already has achieved our goals, we begin to merge with that version. This alignment not only makes us a better match for what we want, but also speeds up our transformation, making the shift to our ideal self seem more immediate and real. But the kicker is that we must practice this alignment in the present moment, the only moment that truly exists. By doing so, we remove the notion that our fulfillment, our manifestation, and our achievement are always in the future or are distant places that we need to reach, inviting us instead to experience them right now, in the present moment. Only by engaging and existing in the present moment can we shape our future. So, in the same way that you internally drag or speed up the clock based on what's happening on the perceived outside of you, which is really just based on the meaning that you're giving to that, you can also speed up the clock and bring what you call your future into the present moment by aligning your emotional state with a new meaning, the reality that you wish to create, effectively living as if your desired future is already your current reality. Quantum physics offers us a framework to understand how observing a possibility can bring it into reality. By adopting a quantum mindset, we can recognize that all potential realities exist simultaneously in a superposition. State, a superposition. State basically just means that a particle can exist in multiple states at the same time until it's observed. In easier terms, you can think of it like a coin spinning in the air. While it's spinning, it's not just in one state, heads or tails, but in both at the same time. It's only when the coin lands, or when we look at it, that it chooses to be in one state or the other. In the realm of personal development and manifestation, you can think of yourself as being in a superposition state of all the possible versions of yourself. You have the potential to be any version of yourself, and it's your actions, thoughts, mental imagery, meanings or beliefs, and, most importantly, your dominant focus that determines which version you eventually become. Our focused attention and intention can collapse the superb position into a single lived reality, effectively choosing our path of manifested experience through the quantum field of all possibilities. If you want to learn more about how to harness your focus for manifestation, I created a video a couple of weeks ago about this that includes 11 powerful tips, and I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video if you haven't seen to it. Back to building on this idea, conscious time travel involves using our ability to vividly imagine or remember events to influence our present thoughts, emotions, and vibrations. By revisiting past successes in our minds, we can harness the feelings of success and confidence that they bring up, empowering our present selves. On the same token, by preing desired future events with intense emotional clarity, we can begin to attract these experiences into our lives, bridging the gap between now and then through our emotional and vibrational state. This mental time travel does not just revisit or anticipate experiences, but plays an active role in selecting and realizing the version of ourselves that we aim to manifest, much like determining the outcome of the spinning coin when it finally lands. To practically apply the process of using time jumping for manifestation, the best way to do this is through daily meditations and hypnosis sessions that focus on feeling the emotions associated with desires as already fulfilled. Visualization practices can also be powerful, where we not only see the outcome, but also embed that outcome within a temporal context that feels immediate and real, because I believe these are the most powerful ways to shift reality. I have multiple meditation and hypnosis sessions on this channel for just this purpose, and I even created one just to collapse time that I posted last week. I'll leave links in the description of this video if you're interested in trying one or more of those out and you haven't seen them yet. To delve deeper into the concept of time as a non-linear, malleable aspect of our existence, let's explore how the analogy of the self being not just an object within the universe, but the actual universe itself, can alter our awareness and understanding, as well as our practice of manifestation. This shift in perception can profoundly influence how we perceive our ability to navigate time and space, for manifesting desired outcomes in our lives. So, let's try a little exercise to expand the self beyond time and space. Imagine for a moment that you are not just a passive participant traveling through time and space, but that you are actually time and space itself. This concept goes beyond the idea of being connected to everything. It's about actually being everything. Everything unfolds within you and also around you all at the same time. The universe, with all of its potential timelines and events, exists within you. Your consciousness doesn't just experience the universe. It is the universe. It creates and influences it. We aren't often taught that this is the case. So let's see if we can make it a little easier to comprehend this. Rumi stated, "You are not a drop in the substance ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Your individual experiences are important, but you are larger than your individual experiences. All experiences exist within you and are accessible by you when your consciousness is focused in the friend direction of them. In other words, you can float your consciousness to any part of the entire ocean, which is actually all a part of you, to access a new experience. By embracing this larger perspective, you can begin to understand that any limitation that you perceive, such as time, is a self-imposed constraint within your universal play. Once you've grasped this, you can begin to visualize the universe as a field where every point in space and time is accessible to you right now. All things exist now. All things are accessible, and then visualize that you are this entire universe. If the ocean analogy works better for you, stick with that. Either way, when you view yourself as the universe or as the ocean, every point in space and time is inherently a part of you, and you can move your consciousness piece to any point, not by traveling in the conventional sense, but by shifting your focus and your conscious attention. This shift allows you to experience different realities and possibilities instantaneously, without the linear progression of time. This concept can be applied through a technique often referred to as quantum jumping or dimensional jumping, where you envision yourself stepping into a different reality where your desires are already fulfilled. Here's a very simple way to practice this. Visualize a doorway. Picture a doorway that leads to a parallel dimension where your desired outcome is currently a reality. This doorway represents your ability to cross between different points in space and time. Step through it. Mentally step through this doorway with the full belief and emotional intensity that on the other side you are living the reality that you wish to manifest. Then you're going to experience and embody it. Once you've made it through the doorway, take a few moments to fully experience and embody the feelings and sensations of this reality. Notice the details, feel the emotions and the state of being that accompany this existence. Attempt to hold on to that state as long as possible, and even bring it back with you into your daily life experience. In the WOD, present moment, this might take a little practice, but it's well worth training yourself to do it by seeing yourself as a limitless quantum being. You acknowledge that all possible versions of yourself exist simultaneously across different timelines. This quantum version of you is not bound by linear time, but experiences life in a multiverse of possibilities. This is how this information has reached you at this particular point in space and time, although it's already all happened before, and each decision and intention that you set now can be seen as choosing which quantum path to follow, which reality to bring into focus and live in the now moment. So instead of seeing time as a limiting factor that dictates how and when things happen, you can begin to view it as a tool that you can use to construct the reality that you desire. Time can be bent, stretched, or compressed in your conscious experience, altering how you perceive progress and manifestation. This fluid approach allows for the immediate realization of goals and dreams in your subjective timeline as time conforms to your will and your vision. So, here's a brief outline of how this works. You hold a desire and intentionally choose a specific point in time and space where this outcome exists. Visualize it clearly as your current reality. Embody this reality in the present moment through daily meditation or focused visualization, affirming its existence with certainty and gratitude. Soon, with practice, it becomes a naturally ingrained part of you, and as you naturally detach from specific expectations about how and when it materializes, because in your mind it already has, you should be able to easily maintain a state of alignment with this chosen reality by continuously living as if it's already true. With this type of practice, you're able to maintain this state mainly because it feels good to do so, and because with repetition you've created the neural pathways that say this is true. This consistent embodiment accelerates the manifestation process, integrating it seamlessly into your life as a manifested experience. And I know this because I've done it many times myself in my own life, and because I've taught many other people how to do the same. The eternal moment of now is not just a point in time, it's a realm of limitless possibilities. Our challenge and our opportunities lie in using our consciousness to navigate this realm, selecting the experiences that we desire to bring into our reality. Harnessing this power can not only change how we perceive time, but also how we experience life and manifest or deepest desires. So understanding that you actually are the universe and that all of time exists within you empowers you to navigate life with unparalleled freedom and creativity. This wisdom, imparted by what you may consider your future self in the now moment, scores that whatever you put your attention and intention on consistently will take form. As the constraints of linear time begin to dissolve, you start to live in a state where every moment is right with the potential for any possibility that You choose to manifest by expanding your conscious awareness and embracing your role as the creator of your universe. You can use the concept of time not as a barrier, but as a powerful tool for shaping your reality. And this shift in perception offers a path to live life in its fullest expression, unbound by any limitations.